Oh my god! Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and I wanted to talk about something that has been talked about to death. But I don't think the message is received, so here's my thoughts about this. And honestly, I didn't want to make something about this. I never thought I would, but what happened was unacceptable, and you'll find out why in a moment. Now for a disclaimer. There is strong language with this video, but I will be censoring it to an extent to not directly say the word, but in a sense say it as well. This is also my opinion of the scenario, so I am in no means telling you guys if it is actually right or wrong, since this is based on my perception of right and wrong. If you don't agree, that's great. It's begun. If you agree, that's great. If you don't agree, that's fine too, because everyone is entitled to their own opinions. I apologize if anything in this video sounds weird in terms of me, because I'm not great at reading stuff out loud, and if you listened to it before, it has already begun. I'm stuttering already, and I'm reading my own script wrong, and it's right in front of me. If you don't like this kind of subject, then click away and watch one of my other videos. Thanks for coming to this video if you're leaving, but if you're staying to watch, then let's get started. First, I'd like to talk about definitions for this video, for particular words or phrases so that there's clarity. The main phrases I wanted to cover is first, second, and third-hand experience, and the most important, intellectual property, or IP. What is first-hand, second-hand, and third-hand experience? The official definitions are first-hand information or experience is gained or learned directly rather than from other people or from books. There we go. If you experience something second-hand or third-hand, someone else tells you about it. Now, for me, first and third-hand experience are exactly that, but my second-hand experience definition is slightly different. Second-hand, for me, is when someone is there watching, but not directly involved with what is happening with the person who is directly involved, i.e. the person having first-hand experience of the situation. This could be the second-hand individual watching or engaging in the situation or argument, depending on what's happening. Now we go on to what is intellectual property. I'll be citing from the government website in the UK, as that's where I'm based. Having the right type of intellectual property protection, according to the government in the UK, helps you to stop people stealing or copying the names of your products or brands, your inventions, the design or look of your products, things you write, make, or produce. Intellectual property is something that you create using your mind. For example, a story, an invention, an artistic work, or a symbol. If you're self-employed, you usually own the intellectual property, even if your work was commissioned by someone else, unless your contract with them gives them the rights. This means that whenever an artist creates a character, story, or artwork, it is owned by the artist unless, as said before, it is commissioned to someone else with the rights to the characters given to them. Now, this does have its own problems. Sometimes original artists can't prove that the characters are originally theirs. And this is sometimes. I personally would be able to because I keep the original files where I drew on, but I'm not sure about other people, so I won't say anything about that. But because we don't have that protection, we have to physically protect our own artwork and characters. Because if you draw something like a Naruto character or a Bleach character and said that it's yours, the people who own that character can potentially sue you because they have other protections on those characters that prevents people from claiming it as theirs, I think. I can't say for sure though, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Yeah, I think that characters from anime or shows in general are protected under stronger copyright law, so they can't be copied or claimed because they belong to the original designers and creators, and they have better laws in that regard. But when it comes to self-employed and free artists from DeviantArt or Patreon, have difficulties on occasion because there are so many instances where this does happen. Now, I don't personally like art theft or OC theft. In my opinion, you shouldn't be doing it. Now, I'm not saying you can't go look at an art piece or a character and be inspired and be like, oh, I love this, I want to draw this in fan art. I'm saying you shouldn't go, oh, I love this and I'm going to draw it and claim it as mine. That's a big no-no. I don't like the idea of character theft or art theft since it may have taken the original artist a lot of time and effort to create that artwork or character. I should know, since my character Rina and Ryu have been in development and still are in the process of perfection for almost 6 years, coming to 7. That being said, taking inspiration from other artists' characters can't read. That being said, taking inspiration from other artists' characters to create your own is fine, since a lot of OCs do sometimes start out being inspired by other characters. But as you develop that character, the inspiration does get lost because that character becomes your own. As an artist, I see all my art pieces and characters as my children and my babies. I don't know how other artists feel, but that's how I feel. Whenever I draw, it's like I put a piece of myself in my artwork. So if someone stole my work, I'd be upset. I'd be angry, disappointed, and I'd feel disrespected. So to wrap up my thoughts on this situation, inspiration and development of a character from its point of inspiration is fine, but claiming a character that is clearly someone else's is wrong. Don't do it. This would be such a short video if this was all I had to say, but it's not. We move on to 3 scenarios, 2 of which are by 2 YouTubers, and I'm using their scenarios because they are good examples of art theft and OC theft in certain perspectives. I'll be summarizing these, So if you want to watch the full videos for each of them, I will be putting them down in the description below. The first-hand experience, or the first-hand scenario, is from Pompadorkery. They had their character Lucy being acted out by someone with no affiliation to them. This all happened, and if I remember correctly, on Instagram, before it was posted on YouTube. What the thief had done was post a picture of Lucy and said that there are times where you can speak to Lucy or meet with Lucy. Pompadorkery wasn't happy and tried to resolve it, and the conversation, I think they said, was 4 hours long. Now, I do think it's ridiculous that Pompadorkery had to go through this situation to this extent, and that this person thought it was okay to take this character and, in a sense, real life roleplay, and not in a cosplay sense, as if they were the characters themselves. When Pompadorkery spoke to them, they refused to take the post down, or at least they did take the post down, but put the post right back up, and kept saying that it was resolved and they were at peace, when things weren't resolved. Now, if you want more details on the matter and you haven't already, watch Pompadorkery's video, because they do go into detail about the whole situation. This will be in the description below, as I said above. And if you've already watched it and think I may have got some things wrong, I'm sorry. As I'm writing this script, I am doing it off memory, and my memory sucks. So if I do get things wrong and you write it in the comments below, thank you so much. But yeah. Now we move on to the secondhand experience. What's that cat doing? Okay, it's fine. Now we move on to the secondhand experience, or the secondhand scenario. So in this case, we'll be moving to Emirichu's video, where she and some friends went to Anime Expo 2017 in Los Angeles. On Twitter, someone who was attending the convention tweeted about an artist in the artist alley who had traced 2 pieces of work onto a canvas and claimed it as theirs, and tried to raffle it off. This is where my definition of secondhand experience comes in. Emirichu was not the artist who drew the originals. That were traced. It's begun and I can't read. I think I'm gonna start that sentence again. Emirichu was not the artist who drew the originals that were traced, but she was involved as a secondhand party. She went to the tracer and told him if he knew that what he was selling was traced art. She then showed him a picture of the traced art, and the one-sided argument ensued. I applaud Emirichu for, in a way, standing up for the original artists. Again, this is a summary of what happened, and if you want more details, go watch Emirichu's video if you haven't already. It's much shorter than Pompadorkery's video since she wasn't directly involved, but it was quite an interesting story to see that this person was willing to raffle off something that wasn't actually his. And now we go on to the third scenario, which is the scenario that I have more information in. This is the juicy thing. Let's go. So the third hand scenario, as I am the third party, is all recountings that my friend had of this event. This happened recently, so it wasn't that long ago. My friend, who we'll call Z, was in Ponytown in the immediate vicinity of an OC fight. And this isn't like a cool OC fight like you see in animations where 2 OCs are fighting each other. No, this is an OC fight between 2 people who claimed the same character as theirs. I can't speak. For the sake of not calling anyone out, I have covered usernames in the single screenshot that I'll be using, and will be ambiguous about the people involved. However, if you figure out who they are, I implore you, do not harass them. Because in my opinion, harassing someone makes you just as bad as they are, or worse, depending on how you go about doing it. Now, according to Z, these two characters in Ponytown came to the Has-Been Hotel hotspot since they were Has-Been Hotel OCs. One was an original and the other was the same character, and according to Z was clearly stolen. I can't say for sure since I wasn't there, but one of them had to be fake and one of them had to be real, since they were the exact same characters with the exact same name, according to Z. They were arguing back and forth, which most people ignored. According to Z, this seemed like a, and I quote, normal argument between two people who stole about who stole whose character. And since no one else really knew them, they stayed silent. But Z told me she couldn't stay silent when the supposed original started calling the thief a female dog, a WHORE, and a SLUT. She couldn't believe that this person had said that, but what else she couldn't believe was what the thief said in retaliation. The thief had said, and I quote, "Thanks, my mom just had a heart attack because of you." Let that sink in for a moment. Z couldn't believe this and told this person outright that they shouldn't use their mother as a defense and death to guilt trip someone into leaving them alone. Now, the original, I can't say words. The original said that they didn't feel guilty upon reading what Z had typed, but that doesn't matter because you shouldn't use death as a scapegoat, regardless of the situation, and we'll touch on that later. So then Z pointed out that if their mother had just had a heart attack, they should go be with them. Z said that because recently she had lost her grandfather, and she couldn't go home to say goodbye with her parents due to educational circumstances, and she thought it was strange that someone would say that and still be online trying to guilt trip a stranger or someone else with their life problems that probably wouldn't even affect the other person. When the argument died down a little, Z sent a whisper, which is a queef. Wow, I can't read or say words. Z sent a whisper, which is an equivalent to a DM in Ponytown, which I will read from the screen. I will read off from the screenshots. The screenshot that will be on screen. So Z said, "Look, I'm sorry, but their name calling went too far. Your drama stays your own thing, but you really," and before she could finish, the thief said, "You duck face, no one likes you. DIK, fudge you, ugly, I hope you die too." Z responds with, and she was continuing with what she had said earlier, "Shouldn't say stuff like your mom died because of them." And then she continued, "Look, if you're going to say stuff like that, then I won't bother because I seriously don't care." Then the person retaliates with, "I hate you." And then my friend says, "But telling others to die is disgusting." And then they respond with, "You suck, you should die, fudge you." My friend then responded with, "Go ahead, keep insulting me, it won't affect me." I think Z handled it pretty well. I'd say The insults someone. I can't even read my own script and it's sitting right in front of me. Now, Z handled it pretty well, I'd say. But this person had just insulted someone who was trying to help, which I think is inappropriate. Someone else, according to Z, did try to dispel the situation, but to no success. The situation, however, did die down on its own. Now, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard about OC theft in my life as an artist, or in the lifetime of OC theft and art theft commentaries that I've seen. Obviously, stealing someone's OC and saying it's yours and then telling the person who tries to help to die? No! You don't do this! Kids, don't fudging do this. This is the wrong way to go about this matter, no matter what side you're on. The artist insulting the thief in such a way is inappropriate. What's even more inappropriate and disgusting is that this thief told my friend to go and die when she tried to help. Now, we're gonna move on before I get angry and throw my mic across the room. Now, what the thief had done to try and make the original desist in their verbal attack was they tried to guilt trip them. Now, I won't go into what guilt trip is, but if you really want to know, go ahead and look it up before you continue with this segment. Now, there's never truly a right way of making someone feel guilty, as I feel every way is wrong to make someone feel guilty unless they say that they're guilty themselves, which I will give examples for in a moment. Now, this person used it in what I must say is the most ridiculous fashion of guilt tripping I've ever seen. They said that their mother at the time of the argument just had a heart attack because the original was harassing them. Yes, a heart attack. Something not even doctors can predict or control unless they have prior medical knowledge of heart conditions. Now for my glorious opinion. No one, and I say no one, should use death, suicide, or death of those dear to them as a scapegoat, because it is irresponsible and disgusting. Now, I wasn't there to hear or see this going on, but it is real stupid to use this kind of method to guilt trip someone. Now, that being said, if you're experiencing suicidal thoughts or going through an actual family death like Z, then seek help, whether it's through a friend, a family member, or even a doctor, because they are more likely to help you than using it as a tool, which may lead to people thinking you're crying wolf. Then there are scenarios where people would guilt trip themselves because they genuinely feel guilty about what they think they are responsible for. But guilt is not a weapon. Guilt is something we all feel and should overcome in time. It's not used to make someone guilty. It is irresponsible to do such a thing, because if who you're talking to is a young, impressionable child, they are most likely going to believe it and think everything they've done up to this point was wrong. And they may have caused something bad to happen in someone they potentially don't even know in real life. Calming down from that, I wanted to attempt to briefly talk about how each party may feel. Now, I'm only one side of the party, so I will again attempt to put myself in the art thief's shoe, even if I don't want to. because in some cases, you should try to understand why the other party is doing what they do. We'll start off with how an artist feels, because this is the one I can most relate to. Now, I've never had a piece stolen or a character stolen, copied, or traced, but if I had to imagine, I know how much it must hurt. For me, my character and artwork aren't just my children. They also have a little bit of myself in them when I draw and create them. In a way, even if they don't directly look or act like me, they are in some ways. I can't read my own script. Even if they don't look or act like me, they are in some ways a personification of myself. And if other artists feel this way too, not saying that they do, then I can understand their pain. I would be upset. And if no one believed me, I would be devastated, because it means I would have to give up something I had been working on, no matter how long I had been working on it. That is the artist's perspective, for me, personally. And if we go on to how the thieves might feel, if I put myself in their shoes, then I think there may be at least 2 or 3 reasons they steal other people's work. Some reasons, which I can't think of right now, might be scummier than others. Some might just be for an unfortunate reason. The first reason I immediately thought of was that they might not have creative ideas. It could be that they're an artist with art block or something similar, but decided to go about making a character in the wrong way. Now, sometimes when this happens, it is the children or young artists that do it. I'm not saying this is always the case, but when it is, artists should try to help them be creative and tell them not to take others' ideas as their own. Push them in a way to the right path. Don't let them keep going in the wrong path. Now, if this is a person that's just stealing a character and saying it's theirs and drawing pieces with that stolen character and claiming it to be theirs, that's wrong. Stealing in this situation, or stealing in any situation, is wrong. But if you can draw a piece, and I mean an original piece with the character that you stole, then I'm sure you're creative enough to make your own character. Don't stoop down so low as to steal art or characters, since that will create a bad name for you in the community. Being creative is not an immediate thing. For some artists out there, and we as artists who get ideas for these characters, should not attack these thieves. We should tell them, hey, it's wrong to use my character and claim it as yours. But hey, if it helps, I can help you develop a way to make your own characters. Show them that there's a better way. Let them get their inspiration from other places, or places that you've got your inspiration from. Being creative takes time. It takes patience, as does most things in life. All you have to do is wait for it to come. In my art lifetime, there were 2 years where I couldn't get any ideas or inspirations. In that time, I had what people call art block. But I didn't steal. I waited patiently for the ideas to come back, because every person is an artist in their own rights. Whether it is a video, music, or even just a piece of writing, Even a report is an art in a way. All you can do is to wait for it. All you need to do is wait for it. If you're passionate about it, then the time will come, whether it is today, in a few months, in a few years. Everything takes time, and you just have to be patient, as everyone else does as well. In conclusion, don't steal from other artists, and don't guilt trip people. Find a way for yourself to grow as an artist and as a person. Allow yourself to be inspired enough to make your own art, in whatever form it is in. Let your characters and art be a part of you, rather than what an artist sees as a part of them. Make something you can call your own, and people will like it even more because it shows you as an artist. Well, excuse that voice crack. I think this video has gone on long enough. I'd like to first thank the Fat Rat for allowing me to use his song Windfall, and his links will also be in the description below, as well as the link to the song. I hope that my message came across. I hope everyone, excuse me, I hope you enjoyed the speed paint going on in the background. This will be my end card piece from now on. I hopefully won't be changing the way I edit my videos in terms of the intros and outros. If you enjoyed this video, punch the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, I won't be doing extensive commentaries like this, but I just wanted to cover it because it is an issue that needs to be handled in the... I can't read the one thing I wrote that was actually good. I just wanted to cover it because it is an issue that needs to be handled in an appropriate manner. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Until next time, bye!